to another episode of As Told by Ari. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode. I know I didn't get to post last week. It was my first week home, so I worked a lot. You know, a lot of us need some money, so that's exactly what I did. So, again, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you so much just for giving me the chance to get my piece out there and, you know, just be a part of the conversation. Before I get into anything, if you could just click that subscribe button, that would be amazeballs. And hopefully this is a video that you can share with your friends to get them involved in the conversation, whether they agree or disagree. It's really just all about getting people talking and getting more awareness out there. So here's another episode, and this week we are going to be talking about living while Black. So I am not sure if you guys are aware of this, but it's been pretty much everywhere, so I highly doubt you're unaware of this. But there has been a rather large increase of white people just calling cops on Black people for literally anything and everything. And while it is 100% comical, it's also very dangerous and not funny at all. So here's the thing. I'm just going to lay this out for people because maybe, I don't know, maybe they just need to know this. Black people are the same as white people. We like to get Starbucks. We like to drive our cars. We like to cut our grass. We like to move things into our apartments. We like to move things out of our apartments. We like to fall asleep when we're studying for tests. Well, we don't like to do it, but we do it because, again, we're human beings just like everyone else. We like to walk our dogs. Our cars break down. We spill hot coffee on ourselves when we're too clumsy. I don't know. Anything and everything that white people do, Black people do. Why? Because we're human. Now, personally, in 2018, I don't think that should be such a hard concept, but clearly, to a lot of Americans, it is. So, let me just say this. And if you take it offensively, then personally, that's on you. And B, you need to look at why you feel as this comment is offensive. The police are not your personal bodyguards if you're white. The police are often your biggest threat when you're Black. Now, you don't have to believe that, you don't have to agree with it, but at the end of the day, statistics speak what they speak. Black people are more likely to get killed by police officers for the most outrageously simple things. We've seen it with, I don't know how many endless cases. I could go into the names, but considering how I've already done that for my first episode, I won't dive into the realm of depressing, but understand that there have been more Black casualties at the hands of police, and they have walked free, versus the amount of white people that have been killed from doing literally the smallest actions by police officers. I just find that very, 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 very alarming. That a lot of you have stayed very quiet when it comes to white people using the police as a security force, as a secret police tactic. And it's, personally, as a person of color, I already feel as though the police are out to get me. And while I know many of you may think that's because you're paranoid and, well, if you do this, this, and this, I'm the nicest person I can be. I can honestly say I've never had a bad run-in with a cop, ever. But at the end of the day, do I understand that my likelihood of dying is bigger than, say, my white counterparts? My white boyfriend? Yes. Because at the end of the day, I am brown, and their training has been to absolutely make sure that anyone like me is put down at any expense for the smallest crimes. Meanwhile, you have mass murderers who are committing, I mean, literal mass murders. Like, they've killed multiple people, and they've been brought in with bulletproof vests. They've been given food. They've been taken care of. They've had people come to their aid. Yet someone who's selling cigarettes, or a young Black man selling CDs, or another Black man simply having his car broken down, has ended with the loss of their lives. It's not a joke when we say living while Black is just as dangerous in America as it is to be Black. I know many of you might look at this video and think, oh, well, woe is them, and if they would do this. You don't seem to understand that no matter how much we conform to your society, we are still the odd ones out. We are still the ones that are seen as predators and thugs and gang members and terrorists. Meanwhile, the large majority of the United States has committed more acts of aggression, more acts of violence, more acts of literal unruliness for smaller things and have paid zero consequences for it. Whereas if I go to a protest, I am likely to be arrested and I am more likely to be tased and pepper sprayed, fighting for my justices, for everyone's equal rights, versus a white man who has killed 17 people, who was offered Burger King right after and is brought in with a bulletproof vest on, no marks to his body, no gunshot wounds in his back. I didn't come on this episode to get on my high horse or anything like that, but you have to understand that as a white American, if you are seeing this video, you need to do a lot better with your privilege, with your voice, with everything. Because at the end of the day, your inaction is an action that causes us to lose our lives. And while you don't want to take that responsibility, understand that the color of your skin gives you that power. When you see a white person acting out because they think a black person's acting normal, but they think it's a crime, call them out. Yes, I'm screaming because I'm appalled at seeing some of the videos of these white people really calling the cops on us for ordering coffee, for throwing a cookout in a designated grill area of a park, for calling the cops on us for moving stuff into our apartments. I am really appalled that white people are calling the cops on us because we fell asleep studying for an exam at an Ivy League school. This is bigger than, we'll know better next time. We could die. We could die. No matter how complacent, no matter how complicit, we could die. And you've seen it over and over and over again. For those of you that know me, I'm loud. I'm opinionated. I am out there. I'm weird, to be real. And say someone calls a cop on me just for singing loudly while I'm walking. What are you going to tell my mom if I end up dead because of that? Because someone wanted to play God and you gave them the power to do so. Now, I am one mere person. But I have friends, I have family, I have people that love me. And at the end of the day, I am one of, 6 billion people. 7 billion people. We're approaching 8, but, still there. And my story is no more extraordinary and no more ordinary than anyone else's. But do I deserve to have the cops called on me because I'm living my life and I'm black? No. No, the answer is no. And if you had any other answer or any other question or any other rebuttal other than that, I'm telling you, you're the problem. And I need you to accept that you're the problem so that you can fix it. If you're white and you are afraid of black people, I need you to get over yourself and accept the fact that in 2018, white people are not the only people on this planet. You haven't been the only people on this planet since it began, and you will never be the only people on this planet. You're not the only people with rights. You're not the only people with a voice, and you're definitely not the only people who have a say-so. At the end of the day, I am someone who has had to come into her blackness in a whole new realm. I was very uncomfortable with who I was. I would try to distance myself from anything black at all as much as I could. And it took me to get to college, to be around people that say you're black is beautiful and you should be as proud as you are to be who you are. My family is a wild arrangement of backgrounds and people. And at the end of the day, just because we are living our lives and we look different than you does not mean we are dangerous. It doesn't mean that we don't deserve a say in everyday life. And it sure as shit doesn't mean we don't deserve a say in when police are called on us for no reason. If you're a police officer and you see this and you get a call and someone is saying some really, it's bullshit. You are the problem. You're the problem. And as far as I'm concerned, whether this video gets 1 view or 600 views, understand that living while black is not an issue. And until white people get out of their asses and learn that we are people just like you, it's never going to stop being an issue when it shouldn't have been in the first place. For those of you that like to say racism is dead, you're dumb. These videos popping up of people calling the police on us for everyday activity just lets you know racism is so alive and breathing in this country. It never died. It took a slight nap, maybe. It's 2018. We can't go to an Ivy League school. We can't cut our grass. We can't have our cars break down like that's something that we want. We can't wait in a Starbucks, a public area. But then the next riot, the next police protest, the next everything, you guys are going to wonder why we're angry and why we're upset and why we feel the need to take to the streets. And at the end of the day, you want to judge us for burning cities down. But how would you feel if your home was a literal prison and you were supposed to be free? How would you feel if living your life meant that you could literally die because someone is uncomfortable with the fact that you are allowed to live your life? How would it feel knowing that at the end of the day, the color of your skin is not something that you get to ignore because someone else is always watching you? Now, what I'm saying is nothing new. It's nothing that anyone can really sit here and say they haven't heard before. But in 2018, I can't tell you how appalled and surprised I am that I am seeing these videos almost every single day. There's a now this post on it almost every single day. I'm scrolling through my Twitter at night looking, oh my God, look how funny the internet is. And then I see another video. Another person calls another cop on another black person for doing human things. I'm confused. Are we subhuman to you? Are we beings that need to be put on a leash because you don't like that we stepped outside? Are we not worth accurate protection like the rest of you? Do we not have the same fears, ambitions, and losses as you? You know, I'd like to think in 2018 that I really wouldn't even have to make an episode like this. And I understand that as it's controversial, I hope it makes people angry. I hope it makes people just as angry as we are. Because at the end of the day, white people need to understand that it's not just you. You do not control anything anymore. You don't have the only say in anything anymore. And it hasn't been that way since like the 50s. And understand that at the end of the day, you can keep calling the cops. Call them. Make yourselves look like idiots. But all you're doing is giving us more of a reason to keep fighting and keep protesting and keep blocking your traffic and keep making sure that your lives are as uncomfortable as ours are every single day until we get the justice and we get the respect of being human beings. Not subhumans, not dogs and cats to you, not mere images of fantasy so that you can get off because your dad didn't like black people. We are human beings. We have fears. We have families, we have pets, and we have our own issues. Ones that do not involve, hopefully, white people calling the cops on us because we're living our lives day to day. It's sad to say that I had to make this episode in 2018, but I'm glad I got it all off my chest because, again, this isn't new. So it's about time that instead of us just saying, oh, well, it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen anymore. It's not. Because what's going to happen is more of your cities are going to get wrecked. More of your homes are going to be dismantled. More of your lives are going to be made uncomfortable the more and more you continue to make our lives difficult for no other reason than the fact that we're black. That's not a threat. That's not some terroristic attack or anything. That's a fact. Because if it's one thing that we know how to do as black people, it's fight. If we've never been taught anything else in our lives, in our lineage, in our generations, it's that we will always have to fight. And while that can be so tiresome, oh my God, I'm 22. Oh my goodness. And I can honestly say that I don't know a real fight like my ancestors did. But I'll be damned. I'd rather die here. I would really rather die fighting than let most of you think it's okay to treat us like we're still your slaves. Like we still don't get to live our lives peacefully and happily because you don't like that we're here. Understand that the protests will continue. They'll get bigger. They'll get louder. And they'll get so much worse for you before they ever get worse for us because you forget you've put us in this situation. You've put us in the position to know how much worse things can get. And for us, while we're all thriving and while black excellence is still alive and well, we understand the worst for us. So understand that while we have many things to lose, we also have nothing to lose. If you're white, use your voice. Call out bigotry and injustice when you see it. Because when someone has anything to say about a black person living their lives the same way a white person would, and you think they're going to call the cops, make them feel stupid because that's what they are. Make them feel like an idiot because that's what they are. The police are not supposed to be the new Gestapo. They're not supposed to be keeping black people in line just because white people are afraid that we're living again. The police are supposed to serve and protect everyone. And granted, while there are some good out there, you have to understand that all you're doing is painting them more and more as the villains every time you use them to keep us in line. At the end of the day, we all have a part to play in this because of our collective human experience. And if that means that you have to learn how to grow up and use your voice to stop injustice, then do that. Because someone's life is very literally on the line, most likely. Guys, it's time for us to be better because we can be better. It's time for us to stop this senseless use of force and violence on people who are different than we are. It's time for us to understand that all of our lives intertwine. Your actions can severely affect my life and vice versa. And you don't even know it. We'll never know the impact of our actions. We'll never know the consequences of them fully because we don't know how far they extend. But if we can all understand that our collective human experience is what brings our lives together, whether we see it or we don't, we can understand that our actions have bigger implications than just a momentary lapse of judgment. You could take away someone's husband, someone's daughter, someone's wife, someone's kid. You can change the entire course of an entire family's history, and you have to actually give a shit. You do. This whole you don't have to care about anyone but yourself, that's how we all die. And I don't just mean black people. I don't just mean people of color. That's how we all lose. Because when one side stops caring, the others feel as though there's nothing else there. And that's the truth. The only way we've all survived this long as a species, as a society really, is because someone along the line, people along the line said enough is enough. Enough is enough. We've been saying it. We'll keep saying it, but understand that the protests are going to get worse. Your lives are going to be made so much more uncomfortable. And while it looks sick that I'm happy about it, I can't wait for some of you to be forced to actually have to care. I can't wait for some of you to be forced to see that at the end of the day, your bias and your bullshit are no longer allowed in 2018 and therefore on. Racism seems to always be alive in America. It will always have a bloodstream. But more and more, we're seeing that it's not okay. And more we're seeing that bloodstream is absolutely being cut off. But we have to keep up our intensity. We have to keep up our magnitude. We have to keep up our force. Black people, do not be upset that you're mad. Don't be afraid that you're hurt. And honestly, don't be afraid that you're scared. I know that sounds dumb, but feel your feelings because you have every right to feel them. Feel your feelings and let them fuel you to make sure that there is change. Any way you can. Not everyone is a protester. Not everyone is a speaker. Not everyone is a down home enthusiast. But everyone can pass the message along in some way. Everyone can tweet. Everyone can Facebook. Everyone can text. Everyone can vote. Everyone can do everything it takes to make sure that the changes that need to happen actually happen. It takes all of us. And if you feel as though you're going to lose white friends because you want to speak out about things that bother you, then I'm going to tell you right now a lesson that I had to learn on my own very harshly. That means that they're not your friend. Any white person that calls you their friend, that doesn't want you to act on the injustices you see, any white person that says that they actually care about you, but doesn't want you to speak out about it and actually be angry about it the way you should be, is not your ally. They're not your friend. And at the end of the day, that is someone that most likely would probably call the cops on you if they didn't know you. Understand that means that their inherent bias has always been a situation in your friendship, and that there's always been a reason why you've never talked about it. End that cycle now. While I've had to lose a lot of friends in at least the last 3 years, I'll say, because of an election, because of their inherent racism, because of their subordination to the fact of any type of ignorance and bias. They're outlashes, to me speaking out and being angry about what I go through as a person of color, what I see as a person of color. That's not your friend. And if you are a black person that needs white people in your life, I mean, really, there are those like that. So don't act like I'm crazy for saying that. Then find white people that understand your struggle and care about it. And even though they'll never be able to fully understand it, there are those that care enough to try. There are those that will speak up right with you. There are those that will link arms with you in the face of brutality and take it with you. There are those that will not make you feel stupid for being angry and say you're racist for talking about it. There are white people that have absolutely helped in the progress that we have today. But understand, guys, that we don't need white people for that. We need us. And while any and every support is necessary, I need every single black person that watches this video to understand it starts with you. Now, no matter your color, your creed, your breed, your background, I love you all. I really do. And I wouldn't make this YouTube channel, I wouldn't make these episodes if I didn't. Because at the end of the day, we all can be better. No matter the color, no matter the background, no matter the creed, your religion, none of it. We can all be better because we all have to be better. Love is love is love is love is love, guys. And at the end of the day, that's all we're missing in this world. And love doesn't have to be a giant act. But love can simply be looking at a situation and understanding that while you're not affected by it, someone else is. And that's all this really is. Even if you've never been affected by police brutality, black or white, you see that it's a problem. And you see that it's something that we are genuinely trying to survive the way we always have. We don't want to survive anymore. We want to thrive like the rest of you. So, I love you all. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope you understand that while I was yelling and while this is definitely one of my more intense episodes, you have to understand that I've been seeing videos upon videos upon videos upon interactions of people calling the police on black people for a living for literally my whole life. And it's weird that I've seen such an increase in the last week. I'm angry. And I'd be lying if I say I wasn't. So, again, I love you guys, and I hope you can understand where me and any other person of color is coming from when I say we need help from black people and from everyone else alike. This is about all of us. And at the end of the day, it's that simple. It really is that simple. So, tune in for next week, guys. I love you. Go out there and change the freaking world, because I know you can. I know that's what all of you are meant to do in your own way, shape, and form. And at the end of the day, there's greatness in this world because that's what we are capable of. I love you guys. Bye.